I've seen people accept Christ only to eventually fall away. Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you seen this? Let's talk about that today in your morning cup of inspiration. You know, I remember almost to the day, I can remember vividly that I was speaking with a friend of mine who was a converted rock singer. And I was asking him how it was going. And he said it was really tough because he says all of a sudden all these churches want him to speak, and on these youth groups they want him to speak at. And he goes, I didn't know what to speak about. I wasn't ready to get up in front of an audience and speak. He goes, of course I sing, but I wasn't ready to take that on. And he goes, I just started cracking the Bible and looking at it. And but this was pressure that they put on him. And then another group from the church that he was going to, they found out that he went to a club one night to see some of his friends that were singing and performing, and they called him up on stage, and he gladly went up and he sang some songs with them. That's all he did. Man, they condemned him for this thing. How could you do that? How could you go back in the world? How could you do this, do that? And he's a baby. He had no idea, how to handle this kind of stuff. I told him, I said, you just entered the twilight zone that's known as the holier than thou Christians. It's a shame because people, they put their convictions onto somebody else when the Lord's dealing with them in his own time, in his own way. I think for people, when you're so familiar with the truth of God that you can harden another person's heart, and that's the same truth that softened them in the first place. There's an old saying that goes, the same sun that melts wax hardens clay. Isn't that the truth? The same people that led my friend to the Lord were almost responsible for his turning away from it and just walking away completely. Jesus' own disciples had hardened hearts. Before he performed the miracle of multiplying the loaves and fishes, he said to them, why are you arguing and having no bread, about having no bread? Don't you know or understand even yet? Are your hearts too hard to take it in? That's in Mark 8:17. So how did my friend overcome this? Well, he decided I wasn't going to let it get to him. He didn't stop caring. He cared about his spiritual growth enough to dive in and know that the power of Jesus accepted him as the way he was. And he never lost his desire to share that experience of his conversion with his fellow friends in that. He didn't let the judgment of the people detour him or hold a grudge against them. He saw goodness. He saw goodness of his Lord and Savior and followed the instruction that Jesus said when he said to love one another as I have loved you. He continued to do that. The Bible warns us in Hebrews 3:12. It says, be careful, dear brothers and sisters. Make sure that your own hearts are not evil and unbelieving, turning away from the living God. So when speaking with new Christ followers, take time to mentor them. Give them time to dive into the Word. Don't expect them to be the next Billy Graham. Even the biggest rock star or movie star that accepts Christ into their lives, they're like babies. And they have to be nurtured. And they have to grow so they can get stronger in their faith. And I pray that you can mentor a new Christian and that you will do it that way. That you will help them just to grow and you see them bloom in their newfound faith. God bless everyone. Look forward to seeing you again for another Morning Cup of Inspiration. Have a wonderful day.